board to go back down and try to reconstruct the language in the ordinance?
Yeah, we're gonna do that now.
You gonna do it now?
That's the next section. Oh. Motion to close the public hearing on the base flood elevation. Then properly moved and second that we close the public hearing on base flood elevation. Other questions? All in favor, use the voting sign aye. Opposed, nay. Motion to open the public hearing on the annexation of tract 1.
So moved.
Is that second? Okay. Properly moved and second that we open the public hearing on annexation of tract 1. Other questions? All in favor, use the voting sign aye. Opposed, nay. Ayes have it. Mr. Gerald.
All right, this is the ordinance to, mayor, town council, everyone has a small session. This is the ordinance to extend the corporate limits of Princeville, whereas the area, has been filed with the county clerk of Edgecombe County, a petition, requesting, that city limits, be annexed into the prescribed area. This annexation was also requested of the town, by the property owner. Beginning of Iron Pipe, in the western right of way of Shallow Farm Road, said pipe being south 1 degree 6 minutes 25 seconds, east 599 feet and 17 inches, from the North Carolina General Station upon grid having, and what this is just the general, just a description of the property. The legal description of the property. This from Sandport beginning along the western right of way, Shallow Farm Road, south degrees 18 minutes 27 seconds, east 260 degrees 260.80 feet to a right of way, discontinued, then south 27 degrees 47 minutes and 57 seconds, west highway 65.05 feet to a right of way, discontinued at the intersection of US Highway 64 ramp. Then said highway south 65 degrees 42 minutes 51 seconds, west 229.29 feet to the right of way, discontinued, thence curve left south 57 degrees 0 minutes 53 seconds, west with a chord length of 344.55 feet and a radius of 1,054.93 feet. Then south 43 degrees 44 minutes and 35 seconds. West 210.17 feet to a right of way, discontinued. Then south 41 degrees 0.29 minutes 12 seconds, west 108.4 feet to a right of way, discontinued. Thence 43 degrees 6 minutes 3 seconds, west 292.11 feet to a right of way, discontinued. Thence south 49 degrees 8 minutes 6 seconds, west 189.49 feet to a right of way, discontinued. Thence south 52 degrees 0.5 minutes and 49 seconds, west 147.39 feet to a right of way, discontinued. Thence south 59 degrees 31 minutes 22 seconds, west 135 feet to a half-inch iron pipe. Thence concerning and leaving said highway 1 degree 25 minutes 37 seconds, west 1,283.42 feet to a 3/4 inch iron pipe, southern line or southern terrace subdivision, plat cab 1, slide 175-B, the common corner of lot 40 and 39, thence the southern boundary of said subdivision along the property of JBS Group LLC, north 88 degrees, 35 minutes, 13 seconds, east, 1,316.40 feet to the point and place of beginning containing 23 acres. Looking right here, this line, it was one contiguous piece of property. This is the subject property here. Right here is not divided, but the property is divided here, so we have to do a public hearing for both properties. That's where we're trying to put temporary housing. If you look here, it's outside of the zone A, so you don't have to worry about flooding. If you look at the AE flood map, it's right here. This right here is showing the Matthew flooding. That's on high ground.
Comments from the public?
Is that Tarboro Road, 6?
It's on both. It has, well, this where it's divided, this is on 64. But there's one contiguous property that just, it's the same owner, he just subdivided. So it has access to Highway 64 off to the east, and also has access to Shallow Pond Road.
Was that 4 miles outside, 1 mile radius of Princeville?
I'm not quite sure. It's right adjacent right here to the subdivision right here, so it's just a matter of bringing, it's really not outside, it's just Southern Terrace right here. It's contiguous to Southern Terrace. So it's right here.
But, I mean, you said 64? 64 coming straight down Main Street, through Princeville.
That's right.
By, Milk Shop Church. Corner there and turn, on Shallow Pond Road. Okay. The city limit is right there by that little white church. And so all the way down to Milk Shop Church, that's like 4 miles.
That's not how
4
you.
miles from the 1 mile, 1 mile.
That would be if it was a perfect square. This is just
I'm talking about straight down, I'm talking straight down 64.
not straight down 64.
Not straight down.
Right now, we're neither Southern Terrace. That's where it's contiguous.
That's what I'm trying to find. You say if I leave Princeville Town Hall and come straight on through down to Mills Chapel Church.
Right.
Okay, Mills Chapel Church is on the right. Shallow Farm Road, that road goes across and turns to the left.
It's right behind.
That's correct.
You
I
know,
know,
64.
I know Southern West Southern Jersey, but what I'm saying is where you're talking about, if you come down from the town hall, straight down to Mills Chapel Church.
Can't you get there before you get to Rock Church?
No.
Rock Church first.
Eventually, we're gonna.
Yes.
Rock Church is at the bridge.
Eventually, I'm talking about right now. Okay, that's 64. So that's about 4 miles outside the 1 mile radius of Princeville.
No, it's right here at the back.
I know where it is, and I drive that road, but okay, let's go from there. So how long is it gonna take you to annex that area in? Are you gonna do satellite annexation, or you
It's
just?
a petition for annexation. We should do it.
But you can't annex, or anything, you pass it tonight and annex in, unless you got some special privilege.
It's a petition annexation.
You need
It's a petition
to
annexation.
shoot.
I have the petition.
You should.
It's a petition annexation.
Because I know we did satellite annexation.
It's not the same thing.
Okay, I'll read up on it tonight when I go home.
Okay.
So that's, and that's where you're gonna put it, separate.
That's where we gotta put it. Well, one of the areas, but it makes it contiguous to this area, which we're also asking DOT for, and Trevay.
So when you
So
turn
where-
on Shallow Farm Road, there's a big Sarah's house on the left, and then you go down a little bit farther, there's space. On the
Right,
left.
you're right. Not on the left and the right.
That's the house on the right.
Right. That's
And that's, and then you go down to, there's a big pond,
right.
and you go
That's
back up by
there.
the bridge.
Right.
So you gonna put some temporary housing where you already got big homes?
No, that's right.
Okay, I know the homes is not there.
That's right.
Okay, but that's where you want to put temporary housing.
Gotta be there, you gotta be there,
That's
but-
going to be like a subdivision.
Eventually, we want to go there, but right now, temporary housing is that because the issue in Princeville is that you can't put the trailers on everybody's home because you have to raise them.
So you're just gonna you wanna put temporary trailers there for people to stay until they,
Until we rebuild Princeville and turn it right.
okay. And so, that's two different tracts of land.
Right, it's split, so one's here and we're gonna read the other.
You don't need to be like that. But that's, so what are you gonna do with the after you get rid of the temporary housing?
Oh, we want to turn it into permanent housing.
You wanna turn it into
Permanent
permanent?
housing.
And so that will become a part of Princeville.
Well, but that permanent housing has to go through a plan, the same plan Eric was talking about. Then we'll have to go through the plan the planning commission that Princeville has planned with. So everybody will have to get by, it's not something that's going to happen immediately, that's long-term recovery.
And then you have to go back and do another kind of annexation.
You know, it already in,
You don't have to do anything else.
it already
You
in.
just don't let night run off.
Yes, ma'am.
But it's still 4 miles down the road.
But it'll butts the right town limits here and it's
The
touching
town
the water.
limits, the town limit is at, on Main Street, the town limit right there by the new white church.
It's all over.
I'm talking about the city limit,
Yes.
and come down 64. So you go to Chapel Church.
Yes.
I ride that route all the time. But, so the temporary housing, so that's what you want, the council passed for temporary housing, and eventually we're gonna turn it into permanent housing. And you're only gonna be
No.
a subdivision.
What we're doing is we extended out the city limits, so no, we would never do away with Princeville. What we're doing is making it larger. We would never do away with that. And if that's what you think we're intending to do, that's not what we're intending to do. We're trying to make it more resilient by making it larger, giving you a bigger footprint. So we're making it larger. There's gonna be one or two other things we're
You
gonna
can, you can bend down, you can bend down, just walk back.
decide on. Nobody wants to give away anything in here, nobody wants to do anything like that. We just want to make a footprint of Princeville
So how
large.
much of that land between where the city limit sign is in Princeville? I mean, not all of this stuff, but just plain talk, how much of that land, will become Princeville? Because now there is, I see back there, Evans Brothers have some land, have a big piece of land. Right off, it's off of 64, well, Forest Haven goes all the way back to Southern.
That's low land, I think, with Evergrove.
But I'm saying, how much of that land in that between where Princeville City Limit is now and where you talk about going, how much of that land would be become Princeville City Limit?
This is, we're looking at 53 acres off, off it right here. We're not talking about that.
So how deep would it be? I mean, what I'm looking at is, it's right down 64, and I know where the lots are. I know where the lots are, so it's like you hop, skip, you did a big jump over, down to 64 Tarboro Road. So everything in between that,
We went to the nearest adjacent property that was touching city limits, that was outside of the floodplain. So right here, Southern Terrace, that city limits is touching this property, it's outside of the floodplain. So if you look at this map here, this blue or purple, I'm kind of colorblind, it's purple or blue, I don't know. But this is the floodplain, that property's here.
Other questions from the public?
Yeah, I have one.
Yes, sir.
You talking about, make that right Shalom, Shallow Farm Road. There's some people live down there. Should you, send them a letter so they can,
We did, we sent letters here,
got to. You got to. You just do that.
So we notified them. Nobody responded, but we handed out the 51% per the statute. So we handed
You're fine.
out- Not up here. That wasn't within the grade. This was something like that. Something like 15. But that was in the radius. That's in the radius.
Other questions?
Is that the 30 acres that Dawson's supposed to give to town?
This is a
Annexation?
This is a Dawson tract.
Yeah, let me kind of simplify that a little bit. It takes you read all of those degrees, so forth, all that kind of thing. It takes a surveyor. It takes a land surveyor to understand that. And on the map, they're kind of hard to read too. Let me see, can I get it? Everybody, almost in here that live in Princeville, nowhere, Mildred Chapel New Church is located. Right on 64, before you get to Mildred City, on the right is Mildred Chapel Church across the railroad on 64, going through Princeville, past my favorite city. When you get there, a shallow road to the left. It's a cemetery there. Turn left. You come right back to 111, which is going to Oak City, off of Greenwood Boulevard. Dawson's 30 acres is only right after you go up. Go up that road. Go to Mildred Chapel Church, make a left on Shallow Road. Pass Jack Daniels, old slave house, on the left there. That would be something to look at. Dawson's land is on the right, 30 acres in there. Now, I don't know where Carlisle, I understand, supposed to give it to 23 acres, and that's on Shallow Road too. Now, if you go through Princeville that way, that's way good. You go through Princeville, on Greenwood Boulevard, past Southern Terrace, the first street corner there is Shallow Road, right or left. If you turn right, you go right on back round to the 30 acres and come right back out to Mildred Church. If you go left, you come right out to Shallow, right there, Shallow. If you turn left, that's Shallow Road too. It runs from 258 all the way across number 11 to 64 to Mildred Chapel Church.
That's right.
Now tell me where Carlisle they supposed to give you the 23 acres. Now I've been living over there all my life, and everybody over near that church here. You come up here and put the map up here in the Greek, and can't probably get to understand. So simply said, show us the way to get there.
Okay.
You got the map,
Okay.
read map.
This map right here, it shows where the flood is. This is the property here. So you can go down alternate 64 just before you get to the overpass or underpass, and there's a clearing. That's one side of the property. Or you can go down Shallow Farm Road right here, right before you get to the overpass, and that's the other side of the property. That's the other tract that I have to read the property description, the legal property description. So it has access to two different roads.
Is the river run behind one of the spots?
The river?
The river's not near one of the spots?
No, there's a river.
Not over there. Ain't no river in between there.
There's a pond.
No river.
Let's tell you.
Yes, sir.
I'm sitting on Mr. Mayor,
Yes, sir.
I'm CB Dawson on a petition. This property was one piece of property. It was 53 acres. I bought it from Carlisle Funeral Home people back in October, November. I've divided it into two pieces. It's still one piece of property. It's just I've sliced it. 23 acres on this side, 30 acres or whatever on this side. It's on 64 alternate, right before you get to that bridge, on the left. And if you were up on Shallow Road, it's right where you turn to come down the ramp to go onto the 64 bypass. It's that cutover along the right of way of the ramp coming down. And I'm trying to help them. I mean, I got another use for this property. And the state's trying to help me. They called me today. They're in the process of appraising. So I think you need to see what hands are trying to do.
Exactly.
And try to look forward rather than trying to find so many negatives. Like,
Exactly, before you change your mind.
Other public comments? Yes, sir.
I think it's a great idea to annex. I mean, one of the best things that people have done in a long time. But I think, from what I read from the resolution, there's not enough information up there for the public to understand whatever's going on. I know certain things you can't put up there. First of all, how much the land costs, you know, who it belongs to. And I don't know if the board even thought about it, but the board should be thinking about, okay, let's say that the resolution does pass tonight. How much it's gonna cost to even start this project? Have you all contacted the county? You have to contact the county because the county has the water and sewer system. So there's a lot to think about, and I hope you all know more information than what we have on that resolution. So when you consider making yes, yea or nay, please consider that.
Thank you. Any other public comments? Motion to close the public comment section.
I got a hand up.
Yes. Yes, ma'am.
What's the pros and cons of the annexation? Just a small,
Pros, it provides a place to put temporary housing. It's outside of the floodplain, it allows the town to grow. As far as water and sewer, we're doing military style water and sewer, pumping hall systems to get into temporary housing. And then moving forward, we can approach the county to attach on, or we can possibly get our own water system out there, we can have our own poles. So it's a bunch of different things. To me, it is no con to it. I don't see a con out to it.
for him to have another offer, I would assume there's a con, something.
What do you mean another offer?
He's saying
I have another use for the property.
another use for
Well,
it.
Nobody's selling anything. You're not selling, nobody's buying.
Nobody's buying.
Nobody's buying.
Land is free.
The state is looking at buying. But today, nobody is buying or selling anything. It's just asking for annexation into your town.
We just borrowed.
So when you annex, it doesn't
I was
cost.
so serious, I'm sorry.
No, when you annex it, there's no cost. I mean, there's no cost in purchasing the land.
Okay, so I guess it's going along with what he was saying, is that it's not a lot of information. That's why I asked it. I wasn't trying to explain it. I was trying to understand.
Well, we're trying to get this land annexed without, and the state is involved, and I've been asked to have an air of caution and to be careful about what I'm saying out in open public. So I'm saying what I can say.
Okay.
Said no.
You just said, yes, sir.
That's what you say.
That's what Calvin said, huh?
He said military style.
Well, Calvin said, huh?
Right, military style water and sewer, but water and sewer is available.
Roughly, how much is it gonna cost to get this land,
That is an issue that's being worked out by the state.
who,
That is an issue being worked out by the state.
who's gonna pay for it?
That is an issue being worked out by the state.
So, you mean y'all gonna pass something that y'all don't know who's gonna pay what, and where?
We do have an understanding of who's gonna pay.
Okay,
We
then
do
that's
know.
So motion to close the public hearing. So moved. Probably moving second to close the public hearing. Are there questions? All in favor, use the voting sign aye. Aye. Opposed, nay. Ayes have it. Next item on the agenda is motion to open the public hearing on the annexation of tract 2. So moved. Probably moved and seconded that we open the public hearing on annexation of tract 2. All the questions? All in favor, use the voting sign aye. Aye. Opposed, nay. Ayes have it.
Track 2, beginning at 1.5 Iron State in the northern right-of-way, US Highway 64 alternate. Said state being located north 14 degrees, 22 minutes, 38 seconds east, 52.42 feet to a 5/8 iron rod, thence south 41 degrees, 55 minutes, 7 seconds east, 550.0 feet from the North Carolina General Statutes Station, SWET, having grid coordinates NAV 1983/2011 north dash 77452 feet east 2440580.44, thence from said point beginning, leading said right of way along the property of Marvin Lloyd Lee, north 46 degrees, 49 minutes, 8 seconds east, 242.47 feet to a truck axle, thence cornering with the line of Marvin Lloyd Lee northeast, 33 degrees, 0.21 minutes, 18 seconds east, 1,271.83 feet to a 1-inch iron pipe, thence concerning with said Marvin Lee property and the property of Michael B. Everett and the southern boundary of Southern Terrace subdivision, plat cab slide 1, 175-B, north 88 degrees, 35 minutes, 13 seconds east, 395.52 feet to a 3/4 inch iron pipe, the common corner of lot 49 and 40, thence cornering south 1 degree, 25 minutes, 31 seconds east, 1,283.42 feet to a 1/2 inch iron pipe in the northern right of way of US 64 on ramp. Thence was said right of way south 59 degrees, 0.31 minutes, 22 seconds west, 261.85 feet to a right of way discontinued. Thence south 55 degrees, 7 minutes, 48 seconds west, 303.9 feet to a 3/4 inch iron pipe, thence cornering and leaving said right of way along the property lines of Edgecombe County, James W. Knox and Brewer Rentals LLC, and crossing US Highway alternate north 76 degrees, 35 minutes, 34 seconds west, 881.73 feet to a computed point in the right of way of the CSX Railroad and said point of the south existing track, thence cornering north 33 degrees, north 33 degrees, 21 minutes, 18 seconds east, 120.99 feet to a 1-inch iron pipe in said right of way of US Highway 64 alternate, thence cornering north 38 degrees, 58 minutes, 32 seconds west, 59.26 feet to the point and place of beginning containing 30.04 acres. This is the other side said area. This is the other side, so this is this side here. So it's the same property, it's just gonna split it over.
Comments from the public?
What is the
style walls. It's above surface distribution where they have air ladders that put pneumatic air that pushes the water to the trailers. Thereby you don't have to excavate and put in water. It's fast. And then you collect the wastewater in a bladder and pump it out. A lot of the bladders you see on farms, like chicken houses and things like that.
This other piece of land, you said down South Farm Road, not too far from the old plant.
It's the same piece of property that we just talked about.
On South Farm Road, there's a pond, fishing pond. Then further down, behind Southern Terrace, there's a big pond. And down Shallow Farm Road from the overpass on the right-hand side, I have a friend that lives down there. And every time it rains real hard, she have water up to here in her backyard, coming from another pond that's behind her house.
Well, as I'm saying, the flood maps don't show that. Temporary housing will address some flooding issues. When you put in permanent housing, you're going to engineer
Well, I mean,
in
anybody
other
can see
places.
those two ponds, cause you fish down there, and the one behind Southern Terrace, if you ride down King Avenue, you just look right through the hill, you can see that pond.
I guess what I'm saying is you're not going to do away with flash flooding because you're going to have that. I'm talking about torrential flooding where the river gets up and just floods everything out of house and home. That's not going to happen on that area. But even where you don't have any flooding, it's bayland here, flat land, so you're going to get some flooding somewhere. What we're trying to do is mitigate the torrential flooding, which is what you get from the river. That is torrential flooding. That piece of property does not indicate that will occur.
You kind of add just some people buy that's back maybe they think
Try.
And who's gonna do this military stuff?
It all depends on, we talked to the state about it. It all depends on what they're wanting to do. I just want to do that just to ensure that we can get people out there fast. That's just what we're working on.
Yes, ma'am.
Is Southern Paris in the flood zone?
Yes. Yes.
Okay, well, where I live at, one of the ponds are right behind my house. And when we left out that Saturday, we had to put boots on to go out of the house.
Right.
So I was just wondering, was it in the flood zone since there's no flood water getting Southern Paris?
It didn't get in the Southern Terrace because your ditches were clogged. So the same thing that causes you to flood when it rains was the same thing that protected you when the river rose and got into the storm drain. You couldn't get past your clog. So that's why we just can't go in there and clean it out. Whenever we clean those ditches out, we have to drop valves.
So when a flood comes, I wouldn't know where it came out of the pond or not, but do the ponds overflow too, as well as the ditches too? I mean, I'm just asking because, we can't leave, so I can't say whether it overflowed or not. I was just wondering because my house is right, like I said, it's right behind my house, one of the ponds.
Those ponds do have overflows in them, but they have nothing to do with Southern Terrace. Southern Terrace actually drains forward towards the main road that's on. It goes out up under the dike. It goes out. So that's how Southern Terrace drains. So the major work that has to be done to Southern Terrace is the 22-acre tract behind Southern Terrace that we have to clean out.
And the houses that did get flooded up there, they came from the ditches, right? Did it overflow the houses up front?
A lot of the water that they sustained water damage came from the rain as opposed to from the river. I'm not saying you didn't get one or two houses that were impacted by the river, but a lot of that was from the rain.
So I know when we left out there, like I said, we had to wear boots to come out the yard, right behind you. And I know water got under the house, but they say, FEMA said it did, the insurance people said it did. So we wasn't back there, we had to leave that Saturday, so I don't know. But I believe it got under there because the heating is not working like it would. We had to go by what somebody else tells us.
Excuse me, ma'am.
about your, under ductwork. They told you there wasn't any water.
That's what they said.
Did you have it checked?
The one man from FEMA checked, my insurance company checked, and they said no.
Other questions, comments?
Yeah. Y'all get green light tonight, how fast will y'all move on this situation?
It's all on the state. I'm calling them every day. There's an individual in here who I harass every day, every night. And I'm moving as fast as we can. That's why they're here, to make sure we annex this property in so that they can put the temporary trailers on it. That's how key this how key this annexation is.
Yes, ma'am.
So is that the, tonight's town meeting, is that, when you leave tonight, is that the main thing that everybody needs to come to agreement on, is the annexation?
Well, it's a couple of items here. Annexation is one.
Oh, I'm sorry, I see all of those, but the annexation,
That's a
really
major
key
one.
tonight.
That's a major one.
And is that what the board is meeting on, or is that what everybody collectively?
That's what the board is meeting on. This meeting is for public input. So we're gonna have the public input to see what you guys were thinking about the situation. That's what this is for. And then the vote will be when we do business.
Is there any other, areas, just based off of what she was saying, and just based off what she was saying, it sounds like that may not be the best area.
By our flood map, the AE work map, it is saying that that is the best area. And that
Best
flood
area
map,
for what's available.
best area for what's contiguous, what's close, because we had to do a sanitary annexation, like Mayor Perkins was saying, you'd have to do a series of meetings. But right here is the floodplain. You can't see, but this is actually a flood of Matthew. So this is the outline of all of the flooding Matthew did, plus you have a buffer, which you do show Southern Terrace in it, but it was not impacted by the water. So the property is here, which is clearly outside of that. That's what I'm saying. I'm not saying it doesn't flood out there. It may flood during the flash flood issue. But as far as being impacted by the river, it's not impacted.
Sir?
If I'm not mistaken, I read something on resolution. Seems like the man said that if we keep annex, if y'all decide to annex, we will annex is Ward 3. Is Ward 3, or should it be Ward 4?
We'll change it. Thank you. We'll make the modification. We'll change it.
Any other questions?
Yeah, with the town hall itself, is it going out there too? I know it got
Yes.
this raised up.
We're gonna decide it right now.
That's one of the side.
Other questions?
So,
Motion to close the public hearing. Second. Probably moved and second that we close the public hearing. Are there questions? All in favor, use the voting sign aye. Opposed, nay. We did forget one thing, commissioners, if you would have a motion to add the FEMA presentation.
Second.
They probably moved and second that we add the FEMA presentation at this time. Are there questions? All in favor, use the voting sign aye. Opposed, nay. Thank you very much.
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
We'll keep this brief. I know you all have been here for a long time, but we'll kind of go over some of the information that we've got here for FEMA. My name is Dawana Davis. I work at the Joint Field Office in Durham. I'm one of the insurance specialists there. That's going to be my focus this evening. And I will give you some information in regards to the National Flood Insurance Program. And then we'll have a representative from the state speak with you in regards to the Hazard Mitigation Grants Program. So, looking at the information we have here, we know that Princeville received severe flooding after Hurricane Matthew, and because of that, the state of North Carolina and FEMA decided to work on recovery work maps for your area. those recovery work maps are the basis of making the community safer for you. As such, also our recovery work maps are what we're looking at, that if your community should adopt those maps or those elevations, they'll help your community build back a little bit safer. For my focus, I focus on the fact that the recovery work maps help us to provide a better insurance rate for you, should you decide to choose flood insurance for your property. So, recovery work maps typically, the recovery work maps will usually tell you they're a good indication of where the water goes, how deep it's going to be. They allow your local community officials to tell you the minimum height requirements to which they need you to build or rebuild to. This is also known as what he referred to earlier as the base flood elevation. Mr. Daniels referred to that several times. So your base flood elevation would be based off of these recovery work maps, if in fact they were adopted. Now, recovery work maps do not affect your insurance rates. What recovery work maps do is they help FEMA as we provide information for you for federally funded repairs and grants because they're considered the best available data that FEMA has. So that's why we use those recovery work maps. Got a trigger finger there. Okay, sorry about that, y'all. All right, so we're gonna go and look at our, back to our elevations. Yeah, there we go. All right, thank you, John. So we're gonna look at elevations. Elevations affect rates in what we call AE zones. AE zones kind of mirror what we look at as your recovery work maps. So the recovery work maps won't affect your flood insurance rates. However, that recovery work map may translate later into something that's similar to what your new flood insurance rate maps will be, should later on the maps in your area change. So by going back to your flood insurance, by the recovery work map, you're better prepared when they actually change your maps down the road. That would be 5-6 years from now. No one would know when those flood insurance rate maps would change. But by building back to them now, if you decide to get flood insurance, then it will save you on what you're paying for flood insurance in the future. It will also provide an opportunity for you, should your maps change down the road, you already have flood insurance, you keep that flood insurance, you'll be able to keep that lower rate that you're enjoying now because you're in a lower risk, or the maps have not changed officially, and you're getting a rate for a lower risk area. You'll be able to continue those rates for 2 years, and then it would go up incrementally until it gets to what the rate would be for the new map or your future requirement. So for an example, if you look at the elevation rates and what an AE zone would be in the future, we've given it to you in different amounts of coverage. I won't read all of them. We have 50,000, 75,000, 100,000. So I'll go with the middle. We'll look at $75,000 worth of coverage. If you build back to the way you are now, and if that happens to be below the requirement, in this example, 2 feet below whatever your future requirement is, that premium on a yearly basis will be approximately $5,200. If you build to your future requirement, that premium at that time for 1 year, great savings, $1,500. If you decide to build to the requirement, and then you look at what they referred to earlier as the 2 feet above whatever your requirement is, premium for flood insurance at that time comes to $421 on an annual basis. So you can look at it and you can see exactly what your savings will be. If you need additional information on that and you want to find out more about it, please keep in mind, we'll try to have a insurance workshop here for the community in the future, or you can always speak with your local flood insurance agent and they'll be able to give you those rates. Right now, the majority of you will be rated in what's called a Zone X, because that is the rate that's on the official flood insurance rate map. And so you would enjoy the lower premiums, which you'll see in that far right-hand corner, right-hand column. They'll be similar to those rates because you're not being rated on elevation. You're being rated because you're in the lower risk area. So that's a little bit about how insurance and elevation affects insurance rates. If you decide to carry flood insurance, and if you decide that you want to build back at the future requirement or even above that future requirement. Keep in mind though, the town's decision on whether or not they adopt the recovery work maps or do not adopt the recovery work maps do not have an impact right now on federal declarations that FEMA may, the town may receive or the state may receive. Federal disaster declarations are not dependent upon what you build, or federal disaster funding for this particular event are not dependent upon that. What is dependent upon that is just building back to a safer environment for your community. So, from that, we'll go into how that's done. And for that, Sharon will be able to provide us some additional information. If you'd like to come, and if you need us to run the slideshow for you, Sharon, we'll be happy to do so.